Testing. Right. Hello everyone. I hope everyone is safe and sound. I'm doing this first lecture recording at home, so hope everyone is comfortable from where you are. Right. So let's just make sure you're in the right class. This is I'm going to talk about this business analytics essential. Right. So this is the first chapter. I hope everyone is ready for this first video recording by me. Okay, my name is Mr. Liao, right? CH Liao. You can call me CH Liao. So uh, let's uh, let's take a look. Right. So before we start, let me just try to get you excited with what we're going to look at in data analytics and what is so powerful, okay, with the data that you have and you can use them to leverage to your advantage, right? It's ever more important to know about business analytics, right? So here we actually have a case studies on this gym workout, right? Have you been to a gym before? I'm sure you might have, right? How do you feel about working out on your own? It can be very boring, right? So wouldn't it be interesting if you can work it out as a group, right? So now what we have here in this case study, we have a team of data scientists or data analytics. They have actually come together and create a sport analytics solutions, right? So let's check it out, right? In this video, two videos actually, you will see how the various types of data you can collect, okay, while you're exercising, such as your heartbeats, how much cholesterol have you burned, right? How fast and how long have you been exercising? And more importantly, how have you excelled compared to your previous workout? And how is your exercise routine, right, compared to your peers, right? So these are some of the interesting that we think we would like to know to spur us on into exercising the extra mile, right? So you will be surprised that some of these solutions that they have come up, they have actually gamified the whole experience of just simply exercising, right? You'll find it more interesting and exciting. Imagine you can see that all your live data stream is right in front of your dashboard, right? And you can see the achievement, okay, real time that you're getting, and the excitement that you want to push yourself even further. So exercising in the gym is never been the same before, right? After you see this, right? It has definitely revolutionized the sporting industries, and with the data, you'll find that your instructors, your gym instructors, will now be able to know your exact performance, okay, your individual performance even better, right? So why not we just take a look at the videos that we have here and let's check it out. This first video.
For a very long period of time, riders have been going into a dark room on a bike with one wheel, going nowhere. They weren't keeping track of their performance, and the experience was always the same. This is what led Equinox to the Pursuit. The Pursuit is the world's best connected studio cycling experience that tracks every moment, pits rider against rider, team against team, and motivates people by seeing their data in real time. The Pursuit consists of 3 parts. There's the instructor console, which tracks the progress of every rider, the immersive widescreen experience, and a second screen experience that lives on a rider's phone. Your every move is animated on screen.
Oh, look at the animations. It's great. The dashboard.
Science-driven data.
You can see your peers.
Avalanche, Tour de Force, and Fire Up were designed on top of this
kind of
data
a
for
game.
the ultimate
If
workout.
you look at it, it's
The
really
digital
game.
experience actually pumps you to do more
So it
physically.
pumps you to move
You're
more.
actually working harder because you want to see your results up on the
Yes,
screen.
definitely.
And
We
you
like
want
to
to see your
compete.
team win.
It's in us. We want to
To
excel.
create this innovative
right? If you can know
experience,
this.
it required a new type of team and a new way of working. Our data scientists, coders, and experienced designers created a studio
It's a new,
where
brand
they
new
prototyped on
experience.
connected bikes, and the real-time data generated from these bikes informed the design. The Pursuit will completely change the way you think about connected fitness. The Pursuit is functional, beautiful, based on exercise science, and it makes you work harder than you've ever worked before. This is The Pursuit by Equinox.
Equinox. Look at that. Isn't it the solution cool? Right? But able to collect all this data real time and then beam right in front of you. Right? This gives you the real excitement that you want to push your work out even further. Right? Let's check out the second one. My leg is aching.
Boutique gyms to boot camps. It's not just about working hard when you're working out. Allison Morris now with a look at some of the hottest gyms to see and be seen.
Wow, hottest. Hot girl.
At Pursuit, Equinox's latest spin class, the lights go down and big screens show
I
you
just
how you're
love
stacking
this,
up against
right?
the other bikers
You can stack
while
against
a
each
trainer
other.
keeps tabs on you with an iPad.
The instructors able to see your
every rider's
data,
on this
right?
iPad, which
On
is
the
to say
iPad.
not just the distance and the power, but their pedal speed, their rank in the class, and how far they've ridden throughout the entire
Oh, I
class,
love
which
to
is
have
say their
one of
cumulative
these
distance.
iPad
I
or
have it all
solutions.
here, and so it allows for me to specifically coach 40 people in the class instead of
See,
doing
individual
it generally.
coaching
Through a
is
series
possible.
of individual and team games, Pursuit
Ah,
riders
I like
build
the
mileage
gaming part,
and burn
where you
calories.
can
It's really
actually
a game. It's about
team up with your friends.
teamwork, but also it's about individual pressure and peer
So
pressure.
when you work out,
basically,
it's good
I
to have
push
some
your limit because of that reason.
competitions.
I've been spinning for years, but to competing and knowing how you're doing is just fantastic.
We are helping
Yeah,
people get
knowing what you do.
more done in a 45-minute ride than they've ever done before, and that's all about maximum performance.
Right, righto, yes. So you can see this kind of a good case study, so you make it data analytics even more important and more effective, efficient, right? People will want to know. So well, we can see in the recent years, there's a lot of hype about this big data analytics, right? There's also definitely a talent crunch in this area. So that's why you guys are in here for, right? We have got a big class. We have 2 classes, right? So the class size has ever been growing, and we never run out of students coming to enroll in these courses so far. So you can see that we really need a lot more of this industry profession to do in this area in analyzing big data, right? This is also been mentioned by our ministers everywhere. So they have already highlight that Singapore is really committed to train even more data analytic professionals, okay, in the coming future. So career opportunities are abundant. It's definitely one of the top hot jobs that's coming, right? Even in various industries, not just in the sport industries, right? The retail industries need this data analysis, and the more, okay, is the money, the economy, right? The economic sector, the banking sector, the finance sectors, right? Where with all this financial analysis, right, they will be able to help to guide those higher management to make strategic decisions in terms of monetary and fiscal policies. So it's ever more important to get someone to be able to analyze the big data that we have, right, on the internet. And Twitters are also, you look at the Twitter, the various social medias, they are basically building an army of data scientists to analyze data. Not only in Alibaba, Amazon, they have their own people to basically look at the data, what's going on, where are the sales coming from, right? And where is their customer segment. So So that's kind of what we're going to do in this module, right? First, we're going to have an introduction on this business analytics. We just assume that not all of you are in this area yet, right? So we're just going to do a bit of the data, business analytics, define them, and look at a number of case studies so that you are aware of where all these things are happening, right? In many, many areas. Right. Okay. Back to my introductions. Okay. Yeah. This is my name. You can call me CH Liao. Right. My contact number, and I'm the main lecturer. So, we do have another co-lecturer lecturing in another group. And what we're going to do is we will take turn to do this video lecture record, so that at least you don't get bored with one of us, right? So in case you get very bored with me, then you got a chance to see Dr. Ng Xiaobao, right? So he's even more experienced, more knowledgeable than me. But anyway, you get a chance to meet him, see him live on videos. Right, so in these modules, basically, again, we're going to cover the overview, right, to give you an overview of business analytics. And we're also going to pay a big portions in looking at the data itself, how we're going to manage the data, and also the life cycle of the data, right? The data itself usually have a lifespan, right? So there are data that could expire, outdated, okay, or we have also got to ensure that data are well kept, right? Now with the Personal Data Protection Act coming, we have to be careful with the data that we are analyzing, and we're going to mask out some of the data, right, in terms of privacy, and also be able to store this data in a secure manner. So these are the various areas that we will be looking at, and hope that kind of excites you a little bit more, right? So the whole outcomes of this learning outcome from this module is basically to help you to not only just to analyze, but also help, very importantly, to make decisions, to make the correct decisions, so that you can minimize your risk, okay, and also we will be applying some technique in preparing the data, right, through data extraction, how you can extract the right data, filter the data, transform the data into a data format that is usable, that is can be used, right? So you need some transformation of data, like from the you're going to get a lot of data from the IoT devices, Internet of Things devices, the sensors, the videos, right? So how do you transform them from this raw data into something that is that can be mapped into your analytics to your database, right? So that you can store them, and then also to load them into some of those data modeling, right? So that we can do some model analysis, right? So that's where we are coming from, to be able also to store this data using the various tools in the right manner, and be able to predict, okay, where's the trend that is going, right? So that's quite a fair bit of things that we'll be looking at, okay. And also, just now I mentioned, in terms of managing the data, right, itself is very important. So again, on the model delivery that we're gonna have is basically, the first part is the intro, right? That is trying to define the business analytics, and then we talk about preparing the data, right, through the various means, through filtering, through extraction, through transformation, through loading, and then we're going to look at how we can safely store this data, right, in the various tools, okay, that we can have. There are now plentiful of tools available for you to store data. Data storage is never a problem, right? So we now have the cloud database. Essentially, the data can grow tremendously without running out of space, right? And then we're going to look at how we can ensure data privacy, okay, and the data governance is also very important, right? We can't afford to have any leak of the data, or protecting the actual data, and also to ensure that the data we are looking at is correct and up to date. Right, so a quick run through on the weeks ahead that we're going to look at. Okay, so you can see that these are the almost the 13 weeks that will be not 13 weeks, but basically 11 to 10 weeks that we'll be looking at. Right, if you were to minus off the 2 weeks term break, then more importantly is of course the assessment components. Right, so you can see here this module not too bad, huh? There's no exam. Okay, so there's no big theory exam, right? Except for some small little quiz. So you have 2 quiz, quiz 1 and quiz 2. Likely they will be on the blackboard, right? In the form of MCQ. Not too bad, MCQ. Then the one of the big one is a practical test, right? So there will be one practical test before your term break. Okay, so practical test is about 35%, and then you will have also one big assignment, which is towards the end. Okay, where you have to submit them, right? So something that for you guys to look out for. So I will highlight to them as the assessment weeks come nearer, right? So to let you know. Of course, there's another small little part. Is basically the participation, 10%. Okay. So this we'll look at maybe during the online practical session or practical submissions, whether did you submit some of this lab exercise or stuff on time, and maybe in terms of interaction with me, right, etc. So what do you think? Well, it seems that we're just starting with the module, right? So this is the title page. So well, okay, there's another video here. I don't think I want to play this video, so I'll leave it to you to look at this this video on big data. It's quite futuristic, right? So it basically tell you how big data is being used in the daily life, in our daily life, right, in the coming years. Okay, so there's a lot of things that we can basically be using, right, for our daily decision making, right? So let's back to this the part on this explosive growth, right, of this analytics. Where is this sudden hype in this business analytics, right? Basically, there are 3 developments that causes this, right? The first development is basically the big data. Okay, now we are entering into a stage where the internet age, right, where a lot of the things are connected. A lot of our information, our data is actually stored on the internet, and every day we are generating many data, okay, into the cloud, unknowingly to you. As long as you have a handphone, a smartphone, every day is actually collecting data about you, your preference, your user profile, etc. Right, and you store them onto the internet like Google Cloud. Right, if you are using an Android phone, right, you'll be surprised that Android, they actually transmit lots of data, right, transparent to you. Like example, what browser have you been using, where have you been surfing, what app has you been using, right? In fact, every photos that you take, right, if you haven't changed your default setting, most of the photos are actually synced with the Google Cloud, and all these are actually data, right? You'll be surprised that data, we're not talking about just the hexadecimal or hexanumeric kind of data. We're talking about even unstructured data, right? Data like video, pictures. These are also raw data that we can analyze. We can compare them now, right? So you can do an image search, for example, which is make it the data can be analyzed, right? Once you can search an image, search a video, basically it can be analyzed, it can be detected, right? So there are incredible amount of data that is actually stored onto the internet, okay, and it's waiting for you to harvest them, to use them, right? So the data is definitely data storage space is definitely growing, and it's definitely going into almost like as big as possible, right? So we are talking about terabytes of data or even more, right? So data is actually continuously being generated by yourself and then store them, and then it's a matter of who's going to use them, right? Government can use that to track, okay, where you have been going, where have you gone to, by some tracking devices or sensors or IoT devices or even strict video cameras. Those are actually storing your traveling data, okay, and whenever you use the Google Map, right, those information is actually also being stored onto the Google, right, Google Cloud. So these are data that is there, and it's a matter of whether you want to use it or not, right? So if you don't use it, okay, your competitors is going to use it. So it's also for the competitive edge, right, or the advantage that you're trying to get, right? So if your competitors are using, you should also be using them. Otherwise, you're going to lose out. So that's the first developments, right? Having a big data, having the incredible of data for you available cheaply for you to analyze, and they are there, right, on the internet, on the social media. The second development, of course, is the numerous number of methodologies that has been developed over times, right? Using the various exploratory data analysis, parametrics analysis, time series analysis. You can see some of these methodology you'll be introduced, right? Will be taught so that you can actually use some of these algorithm to help you in terms of optimizations and simulations, and be able to effectively visualize some of these data. So these are some computing methodologies that has actually been developed, and it's important for you to make use of these tools or methods to help you to analyze and be able to predict the patterns, okay, generated by this data. The third development, of course, is the explosive computation power, right? Even your handphones is very, very powerful, right? It have lots of storage space right now, right? Some of you have even 128 gig, okay, kind of data storage, and it's running on powerful microprocessors, great storage capacities, and these are explosive computation power that you should leverage on, because they're going to help you to analyze some of this data even faster, right? You can use parallel computing, you can use cloud computing. Most of our computation powers is so fast and efficient that you should leverage on this, okay, to process some of this big data more faster and more accurate than ever. So with these three developments, is make it essential and ever more that you should know about this business analytics. Like I said, if you don't use this power, if you don't leverage on this, okay, advancement, your competitors, your friends, your peers, they're going to use that and they're going to outsmart you, and they're going to outrun you, right? So this is very important, right? So at the end of the day, it's also about analyzing all this data to make better decisions, right? So they are here show you the three decision making. The strategic decision, these are usually the higher level officer, like the CFO, right, CEO. They make 5 years, 6 years kind of strategic decisions or goal, right, that they set. Tactical decisions are more mid-level managements, like the manager, okay, even the junior directors. So they make some of these, they need some of these data to make tactical decisions so that they can adjust their strategies, right, and to be able to achieve the strategic goals that has been set for them, right? Operational decisions, okay, this will be also require another set of real-time data, right? Operational data, so that they can run the company on the day-to-day operations basis, right? So that's why it's very important to be able to identify what kind of decisions are you looking at and what kind of data you should be providing, right? If you are looking at operational decision, then jolly well you need to have a very up-to-date data, and data should be on the live data on daily basis and it should be very quick and fast, right? Tactical decision, maybe you need a little bit long-term data, historical data, right? So that you can see make some strategic or tactical decisions, right? So depending on what decisions you might need the collect the right amount of information or data. So strategic, right? Senior management, more for the long term. Maybe you need more longer past data, right? So that you can make a more, you can see a more further trend, right? Compared to mid decision or mid level, which is more for the tactical officer. Then you also need the day to day. These are usually for the more on the daily operation, the junior staff. Decision makings are used to identify a problem or even to determine a criteria or even coming out with some alternative solutions so that you can evaluate the solution and even get to choose the best alternative, right? So here we try to differentiate between business intelligence and business analytics, right? So business intelligence are something like you try to look for data, where to find the data, what happened, and you basically try to answer some of these questions like what happened, when, who, how many, right? So you use the various scoreboards and dashboard to basically analyze some or retrieve some of this data, right? So this is about getting the data intelligence. In business analytics, we try to answer some of these questions like why did it happen, when did it happen, what will happen if we change this, and what else the data can tell us. So we use tactic that data mining, predictive modeling, right, statistical, quantitative analysis, etc. So you can see that the various business goals that we have, we use different tools, we use different tactics. Okay, so business analytics is all about trying to make sense with the data, try to look for insight. Okay, transforming data raw data that you have, okay, to something that is valuable, right? So to create some insight from it, right? Just like oil. Oil is raw by itself, right? By itself is actually not very useful. You need to refine the oil, right, to make it become a petrol so that it can be useful, can be used, right, can be consumed, right? So make it so same data are raw, so you need to transform it into something that is valuable, right? So you can see that like this in the COVID-19, right? Every day we got lots of data on the infected cases, right? So but we need to filter them, put them into some data dashboard like this or some data visualization so that we can make some important decisions such as the monetary decisions or fiscal decisions such as whether we should lock down the country, we should lock down this state or not, or we should give more economic rebate, okay, or incentive to certain areas, etc. So these are all transforming into some decision making. So business analytics will definitely lead on to helping you to make some decisions based on what? Based on facts, based on data that you collected, right? So this is also seen in a lot of areas like the online consumers, right? Online e-commerce. So there's lots of e-commerce transactions, sales transaction going on every day. So if you can make some of this data available, you should be able to plot out the trend, the data on the whole where are the customers, what is the product that is sellable, etc. So this is ever more important, especially if you are in a retail industries or online industries, right? So the whole idea is the business analytics have to aid in the decision making, right? We see this everywhere, even in stock and share real time, right? So looking at STI index, for example, right? It's basically the barometers about the stock market to see whether it's trending up or trending down, right? So you can see the recent COVID, what kind of impact it has, right? It's drastic on the economy, right? So very bad, and you can use some of this data and the past historical data, how it should trend, when will be the lowest point, and hopefully you should be able to catch the time that is in the bull run. Okay, so basically we look at this data so that we can kind of qualify the risk that we're going to undertake, or that we should invest, we should buy, because the stock and share like STI is all-time low, you should invest in it, right? So how do you know about this? You got this data visualization chart plotting to show you that things are happening, right? So you can see, right? So that will give you a better opportunities and alternative, right? That you can make a more resounding decision. Pardon me, that's my daughter. She's running around, right? So that's the problem, having to record at home. So right, so here we have also got this business analytics. So you have this three business analytics, right? Or sometimes we call this the SOP, right? Standard operating procedures, right? So what do we do in business analytics? We basically go into the first step, descriptive, right? The descriptive basically look at what happened, what's happening, right? We look at the data. So when you have data, it simply means that it's the past. Something happened, right? The data will describe what happened. Like for example, temperature, right? If you have temperature taking nowadays, sometimes we have to take temperature. You come here, you got temperature scanning. So they will measure your temperature. So whether you are 36, 37, right? That basically are data collected about your health, right? About whether you got a fever or not fever. So basically 37, 36.9, those are the data that describe, okay, describe what whether you have a fever or not, right? So that's something business descriptive. Then you have a predictive, right? Predictive, after you collect all this data, then what do we do with those data? We want to make it useful so that we can look into the future to help us to predict what will happen, okay, and hopefully be able to answer even when will it happen, okay, and why it will happen in any way, right? So that is predictive. So we make use of data, we look at the pattern, we look at the trend, and hopefully we want to predict what will happen. And prescriptive part is basically is after what happened after predicting, right? After you predict, you set a target. Then you also want to make sure that you can achieve that target and try to drive towards that target. For example, if you have an online business, right, you do an online sales, right, and after 3 months you collected some of your sales data, you just count the data, sales data for the past 3 months show that you have been selling let's say 100 set of Bluetooth earpiece, right? So that's the data that's described, right? So you predict that the last 3 months I've been selling like consistently 100 Bluetooth earpiece, right? So maybe the next month, if I don't do anything, I should be able to get 100 Bluetooth earpiece. I should be able to sell, right? So now maybe you say I want to target, right? You want to set a target. Or next month, I'm going to do better, right? So instead of 100 earpiece that I'm going to sell, right? I should be selling, right? I set 150, right? So there's an increase in target. So you make a predictive, right? So it's achievable at 100 because the norm seems to be at that way. But now in the prescriptive, predictive, that you want to set the target higher, you want to increase target. So in the prescriptive methodology, will basically be coming from how you're going to achieve that 100 or higher target, 150, right? So like I say, if you don't do anything, likely is you're going to just stay as 100, selling 100 Bluetooth earpiece based on the past historical 3 months of sales that I've been achieving. So in order to achieve the higher, so you might have to do something, right? What should you do? Maybe you should reduce your selling price, right? Have more promotions, come out with promotion codes, some vouchers, or even get extra salesperson. So this is about prescriptive actions that you should be performing. What action? What should I do? Prescriptive. So what actions? What things? So that you can achieve the target. So you can optimize your achievement, optimize your resources, and creating some simulations, right? That if you give a discount, if you have an extra salesperson to help you, what are the simulations output you can have, right? So these are some best possible decisions. So prescriptive is actually going to be very challenging, and that's going to be great. So back to this descriptive analytics, it encompasses a set of techniques that describe what has happened, right? So descriptive basically describe the data, right? So you use data queries to achieve, right, to retrieve the data. You basically use plotting of chart to help you to see and visualize. Okay, data visualization is something that you'll be looking at, right? So you'll find that big data itself, if you have a lot of data, it's very difficult to see the pattern, right? Imagine you're flooded with a lot of raw materials. How do you know which is the highest, which is the lowest, which is the biggest? You might need to sort them, you might need to index them, you might need to plot them into a chart, right? So a summary table might not be able to see well. So charting is very important. So you also need to know some of this data mining technique so that you can actually describe the data, okay, transform the data, even something that is more analytical to human being, right? So we need some of these tools to help us. Some of these data query methods is important. How you query the data, right? So how do you extract the data? So that is descriptive, and then hopefully you can present in terms of some tables or chart, right? Or some Google map, or right, so that you can know exactly where all this information would pan out, right, in a bigger picture, right? So these are usually used by quite a number of management level, right? Not just the front line, but also the mid-level managers, right? Even the higher management. Predictive analytics is just now what I've just mentioned, right? To be able to predict the futures. So human beings are intelligent, right? We don't just want to just collect the data and then no point. We want to use the data to be able to predict the future, to be able to predict excuse me, what product can sell. Okay, what product should I produce? Where is the market? So predictive. So we also use data mining so that we can, in terms of predictive, so that we can find out the relation between these different data. Right, looking at all this mass of data, thousands, hundred thousands of data, how do you find any linkage in this data? How do you see any relation between all this data? Right, so that's itself is a challenge, is a knowledge, right? So you need to gather some of this enough technique so that it can help you to basically see some trends, see some relationship between the different data, right? And hopefully you can use the historical data to predict the future trend, right? Um, so ultimately, it's about trying to make a best decision through the various constraints, okay, that you're going to have, and hopefully to be able to do some simulation, okay, through prescriptive analytics, right? This is usually the last, uh, last, uh, last analytics that you might do, right? So in terms of getting to know what is the best course of actions, okay, what is the best model that you can use, okay, and hopefully that will help you to reduce some of the uncertainty, okay, based on the various decisions that you going to make, right? So that will basically help us to reduce the risk, right? And of course, we want to also use that to as a simulation to be able to simulate the various scenarios given different decisions, right? For every decisions that we make, and also different constraints, so that we can minimize the risk, right? So these are very well required, right, in terms of be able to foretell how the exchange rate, how the return rate is going to be like. Okay, so that will have definitely got a big impact in terms of our investment strategy, especially in the financial and the banking sectors. So here is just a very quick run through on the models, right? So if you are in the financial sector, financial field, you can have this portfolio modeling, right? Where it basically look at a mix of investment or financial instruments that you have, and then see which one will give you the highest returns, right? So again, it's about looking at the historical return investment that you, the past experience that you have invested in stocks, bond, any treasuries that you've been buying, and what funds or mutual funds that will be giving you the best returns. Or you should be not putting all the eggs in one basket, right? So you should be investing in a mix of forward derivatives like forward, swap, options, okay, that you should be investing in, so that you can expect a more elaborate kind of investment, right? So that's using the portfolio, right? A mix of financial instruments, looking at that. And if you are in the operation, well, basically you might be using the supply network design model that basically look at the how you can optimize the whole operations, uh, okay, minimize the cost, right? And as much as possible to also be able to identify from the network of a distribution center which is the closest or the most suitable to meet the consumer demand, okay, so that you can provide a best customer relationship kind of experience. In the retail industries, definitely you'll be seeing a couple of models. One, of course, is the price markup model. So, is it true that if you give a lot of discount, you will have more revenue, right, etc. So again, these are all using some historical data to back up some of your modeling, right? So these are models. Okay, so basically they are trying to optimize, okay, your limited resources so that you can achieve the best gain or achieve the target that you predicted. So so back to the last part, this is basically the last slides. You'll find that actually in standard SOP in business analytics, right, the 4 steps, right, rather than the 3 steps that we talk about, we have talked about the descriptive, we have talked about the predictive, and we also talk about the prescriptive, right, to make it happen, right, the data, okay, in the descriptive, and how you can basically, there's the extra, is actually the analytics, the diagnostics, right? Trying to explain, okay, analyze Okay, so this is something just now we missed out, but basically this is also part of the business analytics where you try to analyze, diagnose the data, and so that you can predict. Okay, and once you make the prediction, you try to make it happen. Okay, how to achieve the target, how to achieve that thing, right? So like for example here, a very quick one, how many students drop out last year? Okay, so that is the data, the past data that we have. How many students drop out? Why has the dropout rate increased compared to last year? So you try to analyze with the past historical data, and why it does increase in dropout. You try to find out, and you try to analyze, will there be any more dropout this year or in the future year, right? So you make a prediction, and maybe you set a target that we should not be having so much of a student dropout. Is it the curriculum no good? Is the classroom setting no good, or the lecturer no good, right? So you try to improve something, right? Improve the quality of the lecturer, more home-based learning, okay, instead of more practical, more assessment. So you try to do some of this prescriptive, right, action so that you can achieve the target of what? Minimize the amount of or reduce the number of dropout. Okay, so that is the prescriptive, the proactive action so that you can achieve the target set. Well, whew, finally, I think that's the end of the today's lecture. I will stop here. So I hope you have enjoyed the online lecture today. I hope I didn't take too long. Oh, sorry about some of the commotions earlier. I think my youngest daughter was running around, so that's the problem of recording at home. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys. Signing out. See you again.